I'm ready to go live. I'm live. This might be live. Sorry. Hey, everyone. Oh, did that work? No, feels blurry. Hey, everyone. It's Mike from SEOTpreneur. I'm experimenting with different things. And so I think I'm trying this live stream format where I talk about how I make money using my WordPress blog on my TPT website. So very specifically, I have a TPT website, a TPT blog hosted on SEOT hosting on WordPress. So educircles.org, and I rank on Google for certain keywords about my niche that I create content for. So I rank for 21st century keywords, and then I send that traffic to my TPT store, and about 8% of my revenue on TPT is generated from my TPT website. And 8% seems to be pretty consistent. In the past, it used to be 10%, 8%. It's actually a lot more. It's higher than that because UTMs don't capture everything. But at the bare minimum, it's 8%. And I was listening to a 7-figure TPT seller present at TPT Forward in Boston this year, and they said that about 8% of their traffic, of their revenue, comes from their TPT blog. So how to make money on a TPT blog or website? And the answer is you can generate 10% of your income from your website. Okay, so I don't really entirely know what I'm doing here. And so I'm going to, what I think I'm going to do, actually, let's just get out of here. My thought with this format is I'm just going to work on my website. And if you have a TPT blog or a TPT website and you have a question about something that you're doing, or if you've ever watched one of the SEOTpreneur videos and I've said, yeah, don't use WooCommerce or don't use this or don't do that, and you want to dig deeper into why I say those things, feel free to drop a comment. So what I'm going to do here is a question that came up, which I talked about in a different episode, is actually your page link. So this is, if I go to this page, this is my critical thinking product page. And if I go into, don't have any changes in there. So if I go into all-in-one SEO, if I go into search statistics, it's pulling in my Google Search Console data. So this is not live, but this is data from Google search itself. So I showed up in the last, and actually this is the last 28 days. So it's July, right? Like this is summer. But if I dig down into the last week, right? So in the last week, I showed up on Google 32,000 times. 810 times people clicked on my stuff, and my average position was 19. So my click-through rate, so that's this click-through rate here, this is telling me how often, like if my website shows up in Google search 100 times, then on average, 2 people are clicking my resource here. So I can see that get to know you bingo is one of my top keywords right now. Critical thinking used to be one of my top lesson plans as well. If I go to the critical thinking page, I don't know if I can see content ranking. Can I look by page? Okay. So this is summer though, right? Like this is seasonal stuff here. And this is showing traffic from the last, so right here at the beginning here, this is the last, like June, May, April, like going backwards. So obviously a New Year's resolution page will do great there. But so the 2 things that I want to talk about right now, and then I'm just going to work on my website, is, excuse me, it's actually really important that your permalink, the link to your page, is as close as possible, the keywords are as close as possible to the front. So if I go to my critical thinking page here, for example, you can see how here, like I'm trying to rank for 21st century 60s keywords, critical thinking lesson plans. What you don't want to have in here is the date and time of your blog post. So I'm going to show you how to change that. And what I'm going to do, let's just see here. If I go into SEOTpreneur.com, And if you're if you have a membership on SEOTpreneur, you actually get a WordPress site to sort of play with here. So I'm just going to go into one here that I recently created. So I'll just go into the dashboard. Okay. And I have to figure out how to sign in. Let's see. I'll sign in as me. Okay. Okay, so I've signed in here. These page views are for the system itself. I'd have to put in my own analytics stuff to set it up for this actual page, but we're not actually there yet. So if I go into posts here, if I add a new post here, usually there's a hello post. So I might, and this page here is actually blocked on the front end. Right? I put it behind a firewall. So that's a free plugin. You can do that so that when you're working on the site, if you're not ready to go live, you can just have it behind a plugin here. Oh, hey, Google, can you set a 25-minute timer? All right.
All right.
So if
and that's starting
this
now.
is a sample post about keyword, right? And then I'll just put hello. Hello, this is a keyword in my sentence. All right, so here's my sentence over here. I'm going to publish this just because this is behind the wall. So if I view this post, right, I've already by default deleted the dates from this, right? So if I go into the permalinks, so if I go tools, permalinks, maybe settings, permalinks here. So I've already gone through and I've removed the date from here. So normally it would show up as 2023-07-22, but in a new blog, you can just change it and make it sample post. But if you already have an existing post, then you need to create a redirection link, and the redirection link is key here. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just go in and I'll create a new site. So if you're on WordPress, there's something called WordPress multi-site here. I'm just going to add a new site here. So demo. Oh, it won't work on demo because I have to have like I don't know if that still actually work here. Mike at SEOTmindset.com. Okay, let's see if that works here. Because when you add a subdomain, you actually have to have your domain name point. So sometimes the DNS can be a little bit tricky. Let's see if I have it as a wildcard. Do I have a wildcard set up here? It'll either say yes or no, because that demo, oh yeah, it worked. Okay, so let's just see if I can log in here. I'm gonna log in as me. Okay, I should make this into a proper video, but maybe I will. Okay, so right now, if I go to my posts, I have this, there's always a hello world post when you start on WordPress, right? And this hello world will have a date. And the problem with having a date here is that it timestamps your blog post. So most of us will start a blog and then we don't get to update it as regular as we want. And then all of a sudden our stuff gets really old, really fast. And it's obvious because it's in the URL. Even though you can hide the date from showing, there are ways to hide this part here. The problem is the dates up here. And also, this would be a more powerful, if I got rid of that and it was just hello world, then this would actually be a signal to search engines because hello world is closer to the front of your domain, right? So the way that we do that is if I go into, so you want to have a redirection. Oh, that's all in one SEO. You want to have a redirection plugin set in. And if you have a redirection plugin set in, the one that I use on my sites is called Redirection. It's free. It is hands down the best tool ever. And it's a free plugin. I need to donate to this person because it is that good. But basically, once I activate that plugin, there's a redirection plugin here, right? And basically, I'm just going to go through the setup. You want to monitor permalink changes. So that way, if you change the WordPress posts and pages, you can keep track of that. It'll automatically create a thing. It's going to test to make sure I can access the website. And so I finished the setup. And literally in a minute here, I've set up this redirection plugin. Okay. So what this redirection plugin does is if I go to edit post, right? here's my post, and I change this plugin from hello world to keyword and hit enter. All right, so let's just hit enter there, keyword, and I update this, give it a second to think. So if I view this, so now the website is keyword here. You don't want to lose traffic from your other page. So originally it used to say hello world. And in fact, I'm going to copy the old link here. It used to say hello. There we go. Hello world, right? I'm just going to put this here just so I don't forget about it. So if I go to hello world, you don't want that to break and go to a 404 page or like it can't find it. But the reason why it didn't, it automatically went from hello world to keyword here, is because I have this redirection plugin. And I set up this redirection plugin so that it's monitoring redirections, like it's monitoring changes. Hey, did you not monitor that? Grr. Why are you not working? Import options. Log is track. Monitor changes to post. Monitor changes to pages. Did you do it in the all-in-one SEO plugin? Is that how this worked here? No, because that would have been a play plugin here. Redirections. Okay, so now you're confusing me because keyword is the real one. If I go to hello world, somehow you've remembered to go that keyword. Okay, if I change this post again, all right. So if I change this to keyword, important keyword. All right, let's try that. So I'll go to important keyword, right? So now, oh, I didn't save it. Hit update. All right. So if I go to this page, important keyword, it's right there. If I refresh this page that has keyword, it should automatically redirect me to important keyword. And even the hello world one, what'll happen is it'll go to the keyword and then important keyword. And I have a tracking thing here so I can see it went from hello world to keyword to important keyword. And that's just a Chrome extension that I've added. You won't need that. If I go into my dashboard, if I go into redirections, if I refresh this page, I can see that keyword has automatically been caught and set to important keyword. It's a mystery why the hello world one works. But the problem here, if I get rid of some of these things, is that I have the date here and I need to get rid of that date. So the way that I get rid of that date is I go into my tools, settings, I go to permalinks, I click on that, and I'm going to change it from day and name because I don't want the day and name. I'm going to change it to post name. And if I change it to post name and then hit save changes, it's going to update the way that these are saved. And so now if I go to my post, let's just go to my post here. Let's close things on the right here. Hello world, right? So now if I edit this post, I can see that right away on the side here, it's just important keyword, right? And if I open this up, there we go. So important keyword is right close to the front. There's no date in the URL. But the problem is because I changed the permalink, that won't get captured. So my old link here, right? And even if I go to the old link here, which was important keyword, or if you can put keyword, this will break, right? So keyword, this will break. It'll go to a 404 page and WordPress will say, hey, I can't find this. And that's simply because, where are you, my friend? That's simply because it's looking for this date URL and it doesn't exist. It doesn't know how to deal with this. And so the way, if you change your permalinks on an existing site, you might severely mess up your rankings and break a whole bunch of links. And so the solution to that is in this permalinks, in this redirection plugin. So tools, redirection, here we go, right? I need to create a rule that's going to capture all of these dates. And I don't actually remember what this rule is. So I just Google it. So redirection plugin, and let's just find, here we go, redirect me. And they have some examples of Permalinks, track for errors, import, export. Why is it free? Okay, so let's just search in here for permalink changes, because we are not the first people to ask this. Site options, no. Permalink migrations, so redirect old permalink structures. So permalink migrations, here we go. You can multiply via the permalink settings. Sometimes you can create a regular. Wow, do you do this automatically now? What? This isn't feature. If you're, then you need to use a regular expression. All right, so developer, where are you hanging out? You have a regular expression. I'm gonna find this now. No, support, redirection, create redirections, redirect sections, regular expressions. Here we go. Right, so, and we're not the first person to ask about the dates. Where's the dates? Date. Redirect date and name permalink. Okay, so here's the code. And this part's messy and it's scary at first. But if I do it once, then it's done. So I'm going to redirect the date. I'm going to add a redirection. And I'm going to add this scary code. So I need to enable the regex one. So I'm going to change this to regex, regular expressions. All right, and then the target URL is this /$1. All right, and I'm going to add this redirect. So if it's a whole bunch of code, I don't really know what it means, right? I do, but like, so basically what it's going to do is it's going to redirect anything that has my date to just the post name. So if this has worked properly, then it means that this keyword, before it used to be a 404 error, but now if I redirect it, that redirection line should take me to important keyword. So that's key. And that one small little detail allows you to improve your SEO for your TPT blog, because now you don't have the dates in the posts. If you get stuck on this, then if you're in the SEOTpreneur PRO membership, then just ask me in the discussion forum. And if you are not, then but you're on SEOT hosting, then contact me through those channels and I can help you set that up. All right. So what I really want to do during these times is I want to work on my website. And so it's important that I update my blog posts. So I actually keep track of updating my things here. Here we go. So I'm going to update. What did I just do? I did the bundle, but you know what? I'm just going to go with the challenge post here because it's at the top here. So let's just start to do that. Sure. I just finished my Zoom meeting, update this here. So I just keep track of my time in here. So I'm going to update my challenge task. And the challenge post is this WordPress post here. Right. So I just basically bookmark my pages here. So I need to make this about back to school. Oh, it's been a long time since I've updated this. So I'm going to say back to school learning skills. 2023 back to school learning skills lesson plans. And today is what? I'm manually putting in the date just so that people feel like it's updated. Okay. Challenge your class in during back to school activities with these 13. Reboot, kickstart your class. So I'm just changing the language so that students, I'm just changing the language. Yeah, hey, Cato TV, I just saw your comment. I'll be with you in a second. I go through my blog posts. These blog posts already exist. I don't have to constantly create new content, but if I refresh my content, then that's a big deal, especially my keystone content like this is, right? So reboot your class by helping students learn how to learn. I'm going to change that to kickstart your class in September by helping students, by setting a tone, by helping students learn how, by reminding students how to learn. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this. I was promoting this video for a bit, but I'm not. Okay, so I'm going to update that. I am going to change the date till now. So update. So now when I update the date immediately, because I don't have the date in the URL, it's not breaking a bunch of things. It's not creating a whole bunch of redirections. I have updated it immediately. Google knows that I'm immediately like, this is fresh content here. I'm going to change the image here. So I'm going to replace it. I've already uploaded all my images in here. So I have a back to school challenge task. Where are you? Here we go. Back to school learning challenge. I'll probably copy learning skills. Here we go. So alternative text is what shows up on, I think it shows up on accessibility devices. And there's a whole bunch of rules about how to describe the purpose of the image, because basically this is another signal for SEO. But I'm going to just basically write on the title, because if you couldn't see the image, then I want to describe what you can see in here. So back to school learning skills. It says 16 lessons, class challenge, 16 seconds lessons, class challenge. And then I'm going to 21st century learning skills, growth mindset challenge. So I'm going to probably leave it pretty consistent here. Social most SEL cover. All right. So I'll select that. That'll get updated. I think that's also supposed to be my featured image. So I'm going to replace the featured image, because sometimes Google pulls up the featured image in their snippet. Back to school learning skills. So select that image here. Going to tidy that up here. Okay. So sometimes the blocks break. I just hit a temp block recovery. Usually that solves things down here. And then the secret sauce, I am going to, do we need to teach learning? Do we really need to teach learning skills during back to school activities? All right, so I'm going to update that. I'm going to go to my front page. Here is the secret sauce before I reply to Cato TV's questions. So give me 1 second, Cato. So the secret sauce, this is super important. You go into Google Search Console. You click on so basically I'm inspecting Google Search Console here, and it's telling me, Google's telling me what it knows about my web page. And here, if that's a green check mark, it means awesome. Everything's fine. It's indexed. If it's red, it means your web page is not in the Google index, and so it'll tell you what's wrong. The problem here is I have an AMP page that was I had an old plugin and it was messing up the AMP code. So that's why the AMP page is showing up here. So I'm just going to go request indexing. This is so I'm basically, Google will find you automatically, but if you wait time, depending on how big your site is, Google will crawl it weekly, like a couple of weeks. So what I'm doing is I'm basically asking Google, hey, I just updated this page. Can you check it out? And then Google, if everything works here, it'll say, yep, we put it into a priority queue, and then they're going to go check it out. Okay. And that'll help me rank a little bit higher because the dates are up. There we go. Submitting requests. So I fixed the AMP issue by just removing the plugin. It's got it. It's in there. All right, Cato. Hi, I just started your TPT. Any advice what I should design first? Which products to work on? Thanks. Okay, so that is not actually a TPT WordPress question. It is a TPT product question. And so what I would suggest, youtube.com. So not now, but eventually, if you go onto the YouTube, the SEOTpreneur, there's a section here, and you're going to ask me, you're asking me to work on whatever process. This free business course walks you through exactly what you should do, like from beginning to end, from like I'm just starting my TPT store to I'm like making lots of millions of dollars. So the issue Cato TV right now is, I'm guessing if you just started, just create content that teachers need. And I don't know what part of the world you're from, Cato TV, but if you're, so Teachers Pay Teachers initially it's really designed for teachers to share resources with other teachers. And so if you were a teacher you have an unfair advantage because you know what the problem is that teachers have, right? So the simplest possible business plan is you find, and this isn't from me, this is from Dan Candy, you find a group of people who are in need, right? So in this case, teachers need resources so that they don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? And then you create a solution, like you research what those teachers need and you create a solution for them. And then you let me rephrase. Okay. Step one, find a group of people who need help. So in this case, teachers. Teachers need help because there's too much to do, not enough time to do it. Step two, research those teachers and figure out what they need. So this is where you have to understand. So I teach grade 8 English language arts teachers. I know what grade 8 English language arts teachers need, right? I know what the problems are with the job that are in Ontario. So then I know where, like, because I taught it for 13 years, I know what's hard, I know what's easy, I know what I need. So that step two is you research what those people need. Step three is you create a solution like that helps them ease their problem, right? And so that's where the TPT product comes in. So I create resources that I would use in my class because I know that teachers like me will use that resource, and that will ease my pain. And then step four is you sell your product, your solution to the people who are in pain. So Cato TV, if you are not a teacher, then your first step is to figure out what teachers need, right? And that is the hardest part. I'm just wondering, I don't know what part of the world that you're from, but if you aren't in education, you need to chat with your teacher friends, right? And you need to find out, TPT is mostly American, so figure out what American teachers need. And that's what you need to do first. But you're going to ignore me probably because most people watching this, there's a large slice of TPT sellers, and lots of people are in different parts of the world. And you see that you can create resources and sell them on TPT. And so then people just create content without knowing whether or not this will actually work, or they'll just take an alphabet set and slice it into one letter per product and try to make money that way. Teachers don't need that, right? I'm not going to pay $1 per product, $1 per lesson. So yeah, the hardest part for you, so Cato TV, I don't know where you're from, but my first suggestion is figure out what teachers need and then create a solution to that problem. But if you are a teacher in the States or in Canada, then you know what you personally needed in the classroom and create those resources, like high quality resources that you wish you had, but you didn't have time to make, right? And that's the solution that TPT sellers can present. All right, so what I'm doing right now in this session here, this is for TPT sellers who already, like if you're creating a blog, you're either doing it because you're at the beginning of the game or you're at the hamster stage of the game. And basically, the whole point of a blog is to get traffic to your TPT store. Your blog builds your credibility and your trust. So if you're not sure if you need a TPT blog, just go to the SEOTpreneur channel. And if you scroll down here, there's a free masterclass. I really need to change this to say TPT blog masterclass. But basically, in this video, I walk you through why you need a TPT blog or who it's for. So that's something to check out there. But in this live stream, what I'm going to really focus on, what I'm trying to focus on is updating my content, because I need to generate traffic because the TPT website is how I generate traffic back to the page. So if I preview this page here, if I go back, oh, hello. If I go to the page, if I go to the URL, if I click on this, so this is what I updated. Oh, see, I forgot here, New Year's 2023. I need to change that. So that's in here. So I'm going to put back to school because if it says New Year, that feels wrong. It doesn't match things. So back to school 2023 Learning Skills Classroom Challenge, the Ultimate Growth Mindset Classroom Challenge. Now, I want to have maybe a minute or two left here. So one of the ongoing things that I do is I use this all-in-one SEO plugin. There's a free version of this. Yoast also has a free version. I actually prefer the checklist on Yoast a little bit better. But basically here, this is where I put in my key phrase that I've researched up. I can talk about that later. But basically, 21st century skills, if I'm trying to rank for 21st century skills on here, I need to go through and put it in all these titles. So it's not in my SEO title. So the SEO title is actually, if I go to the bottom here, the SEO title, oh, Happy New Year. I need to change. This is the title that shows up on Google. So this is the Google snippet it's called. So I'm going to put here 21st century learning skills. What did I say? 21st century learning skills. So I'll put back to school, 21st century learning skills classroom challenge. 63 characters. I need to make it 6 class challenge. Oh, hey, Morocco. Woohoo. Okay, so then Cato, I'm just going to show that up here. The first thing you need to do, you're going to ignore me. Lots of people ignore me. They just start and create content, and you can just create a product on TPT and see if it works. But I'm going to guess if you're not a teacher, then like I'm not a lawyer. So if I create content for lawyers, I don't know what lawyers need, right? Or I don't teach early education. So if I create a resource, I'm just guessing and hoping to figure out what they need, right? So I would figure out, Cato, what do teachers need, right? Chat with friends who are teachers in Morocco, but then also join Facebook groups and just be a fly on the wall and listen to what teachers are in your subject area that you're going to create content for. Just figure out what they need. You don't need to respond. You don't need to ask like, hey, what do you guys need? Because if you just go to the Facebook group with teachers, not TPT sellers, if you go to a Facebook group with teachers and just see the chat that people are talking about, you'll figure out what their problems are. And then that's where you can create content maybe that can serve their problems. And then you got to get that product in front of them. So the last thing I'm going to do here is I'm just going to update my page title. I see I have a green check mark here, the focus keywords in the SEO title. So I need to change this. So lesson plans, handouts, and learning activities. I'm going to put growth mindset. Growth mindset. No. 21st century learning skills. Growth mindset, lesson plans, handouts, and activities to set the tone during back to school 2023 season. Right? Okay, so I'm only allowed to have so many characters because otherwise it'll crop it out. Google, we suggest to Google the meta description, but Google will pick and choose what it wants to show anyways. And you can use a tool like SEMrush to see what Google is actually showing versus what you want it to show. 21st century learning skills, growth mindset, challenge your class. Okay. Challenge your class to stay in a growth mindset. All right. Challenge your class. Okay. Can your students stay in a growth mindset? Question mark. Oh, it's too long. 21st century learning skills, lesson plans, handouts, and activities, period. Set the tone during back to school season. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Wow, I missed that. So actually that small thing there, if I didn't pay attention to the checklist, I wouldn't have checked my SEO title. So I'm glad that I did. And now the Google snippet will show this, because earlier it would have said like Happy New Year's. And then even though I changed the content on the page, people won't click on it. And then my ranking, my position on Google would have dropped a little bit like that. Cato, love that you replied in here. Excuse me. So Cato, here's your homework. Because I will do this again next week, this same time. Go figure out, think about what kind of product you want to create, because you probably have an idea since you started TPT. So don't look on TPT for what people are doing for that, because you're going to find a bunch of good products and a bunch of crap products. Go figure out what teachers need about that topic niche. And then next week, come back and tell me, yeah, teachers need this kind of product, right? And then I'll tell you the next step. But really, in the meantime, watch the business class about masterclass. So let me know. This is going to be posted. I'm going to try this for, I don't know, a couple of weeks, maybe a quarter. So 12 weeks, just weekly on Saturday, right after my Zoom class in the SEOTpreneur Club. And I'll just talk about what I'm working on my WordPress. So if you have a question about WordPress that you want me to address in a future episode, leave it in the comments and we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Have a great Saturday. Bye-bye now. End broadcast.